one of the most amazing things coming here is just the number of creative, interesting things that people are doing and how much time people spend doing them. And most people I've spoken to basically have no spare time. Does anyone have like a lot of spare time here? No.
You're the one who's been emailing me.
So by choice, 5 years ago, I ran out of like pretty much all time. So the point of this talk is to tell you how to double your spare time. And by spare time, I'm defining that as your waking hours when you're not working, you're not eating, you're not taking a shit, you're not shaving, and all the rest of the stuff. So basically, everything else is spare. You can imagine doubling the amount of time you have. Now, the way I did that was I cut my sleep hours down. So the question is,
Speak up.
Yeah, it's kind of noisy. Okay, I'll do my best. So how many people here, on average, require 2 hours sleep per day? Hands up.
Or more.
Or more?
Or just 2 hours. That's it. 3 hours. 4. 5. 5. 6.
You don't worry about that when you're not sleeping.
6.
I'll go with 6.
Okay. 7. 8.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. 8. 9.
Eight's what everyone's being told.
12 if I'm hungover.
Okay, 9. Ideally 8. 10. Above 10.
The others are sleeping.
Yeah. So it's pretty much 8.
You're above 10? Wow.
So I'm going to tell you how I do it. So right now, if I sleep in a single block, I need 8 hours of sleep, which is what most people do. So you've got this pattern where there's your day, and you sleep for this bit, and that's usually 8 hours. Now back in 2005, I was working 2 full-time jobs and billing for both, and I basically had no spare time. So I've worked 2 jobs, about 80 hours a week. I did a little bit of stuff in London for fun, and then the BBC said everyone who's a contractor needs to be in the office between the hours of 9 and 5. Now, even though I was in a wheelchair at the time, they said you still need to be in the office. So I had the situation where I couldn't ethically work on the second project when I was in the office. So suddenly I lost 20 hours of my week, and I didn't have 20 hours of my week. So a friend of mine forwarded me a paper about a guy that had redistributed his sleep. Like this. So there's 24 hours. So every 4 hours, I would sleep for 26 minutes. So there'd be a bit there, a bit there, a bit there. So let me tell you how my day would go.
Give 1 minute.
Okay. 9 to 9:26 I would go to sleep. 9:27 I'd get on my scooter to go to the BBC. I'd work in the BBC till just before 1 PM. I would then take my leather jacket from my scooter, I'd lay it on a cold granite counter in the restroom. I would sit on the toilet and I'd put my head on the motorcycle jacket and I would sleep for 26 minutes with a really fucking loud alarm clock. At 1:26 I'd wake up and I'd go back to work. At 5 PM I would then repeat the same thing. I'd then do another hour's work. I'd get back on the scooter, I'd get home at about 6:30, I'd eat, I'd do the rest. 9 till 9:26 I would sleep. 9:30 till 12:30 I would go out in London and I'd have a good time. 1 AM till, and I'd quickly scoot home. 1 AM till 1:30 I would go to sleep, and then from 1:30 till 9 with a 5 o'clock break I would sleep for 26 minutes. So I ended up sleep for 4, I did this for 4 months.
Whoa.
4 months I was sleeping on average 2.5 hours a day. I'm kind of restricted on time, so let me tell you something. Sure.
How'd it go?
I cured 30 years of insomnia. I was diagnosed by a pediatric psychiatrist as just having a too active brain. I don't know if anyone here has trouble getting to sleep and someone just says your brain is too active.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking useless is that? I went through 2 weeks, so to do this I went through 2 weeks of hell. But what I found was that if I was going to sleep 6 times a day, I had a lot of practice going to sleep. And I really, really, really needed to go to sleep. I mean, I remember one time I was working on some code, and my entire body had leant up against the wall, and I was completely unaware of this. Like, it just had relaxed to the point where I was kind of typing sideways. I would sleep with my head on a metal bar with a very small blanket and a very loud alarm and an MP3 that played white noise into my ear and a rooster crowing after 26 minutes to wake up. Just tell me when I should stop. So I'll just...
Why did you stop?
Wow. Why did I stop?
I've got 3 questions.
Okay. So there were 2 aspects. The social aspect is really, really awkward. Yeah, actually that's another thing I'll talk about, but that's probably not for here. You have to sleep at 9 o'clock. So unless you restrict yourself to going out for a few hours, you have to sleep in a bar. Now I've done that, but it's really difficult when people are taking photos and the flashes are just waking up the whole time. The second thing that was a problem is I got hired by Google and I was working on Gmail and I was carrying a pager. So for between hours of 8 and 6 I had this thing going off the whole time. I don't know if you know, but Gmail is actually a really janky service. So I ended up stopping doing it just for the social and Google reasons. But there's a hybrid version which is actually a lot more accessible to most people, where so you can cut your main sleep at night 4 hours, and then get a couple of 26 minutes in the day, and that will buy you about 3 hours. You can do a lot in 3 hours. So instead of 8 hours, you can split it down. I actually personally am quite convinced that the traditional Western version of a single block of sleep per day is not compatible with human physiology.
You mean the US version, not the Italian version?
Not the Italian. So the siestas in Italy and Spain are really sensible, I think. You got an hour just to kind of recuperate.
What's magic about
20 hours instead of 80.
Because they divide into 4-hour intervals for
Right,
24
so
hours
that's how
a
I
day.
was doing the two jobs. I was billing for 40 and working for 25.
Around the camera. Oh, you mean around the camera?
You get
No
one
one's
more,
ever done that before.
like one more question?
One more question.
Anyone?
I got a question.
Yes.
So, I just had to take a
Sorry.
maybe this is answered, but I have not met anyone who's done polyphasic sleep religiously for more than like a month.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of convinced it's something that you do and you run on fumes for a while and then like you go splat and have to sleep a bunch. So I'm curious how long you were able to do it without taking a break.
So there's a whole kind of culture around this, and there's a thing called a crash where you don't wake up for your 26 minutes. Ever. So you kind of wake up about 4 hours later and there's this weird block of 4 hours of amnesia. You try and avoid those by just making your environment not conducive to a long sleep.
Okay, but I'm curious.
So here's the trick. You really have to do it. The internet is scattered with blogs of people who said, I'm going to start my polyphasic sleeping, and then a couple of weeks in it kind of mysteriously goes dead because they don't finish it. I had 2 contracts that I absolutely had no choice to do. So I really had to do it.
So
The other
10 minutes.
the other class of people that do it are people that sail around the world who do this exact same thing. Nikola Tesla did it. There's a bunch there's a bunch of people that have
What's the longest you've done?
4 months.
Straight, no breaks?
I mean, I crashed occasionally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love for one of these people to keep like religious sleep journal.
I want to take a nap. So when you drive a train in France, you have to press the button every minute to make sure you're awake. I want an application that will do that, so you can legitimately track how much you're really awake.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to hear more about this, I'm happy to.